Imagine standing at the edge of forever, free from death's shadow. For millennia, gods and heroes in myth have reached for exactly that, eternal life. But these tales hint at a terrible truth. Achieving immortality often carries a devastating price. Even our oldest legends warn against this dream. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, the tavern keeper Siduri tells the king that the gods allotted man death, but life they retained. A poetic way of saying mortality is the human lot. She urges Gilgamesh to enjoy simple pleasures. Fill your belly with good things, cherish your wife, instead of chasing an impossible eternity. This sets the stage. Immortality was never meant for humans. The tormented titan, Prometheus. In Greek mythology, Prometheus is an immortal titan best known for his defiance of Zeus, king of the gods. Moved by compassion for humanity, Prometheus stole fire from Olympus, symbolizing not just warmth but knowledge, technology, and the spark of civilization, and gifted it to mankind. With fire, humans began to flourish, building tools, forging weapons, and shaping culture. It was a bold act of rebellion that empowered mortals, but it enraged Zeus, who saw it as a dangerous challenge to divine authority. As punishment, Zeus ordered Prometheus to be chained to a desolate mountain in the Caucasus. There, each day, a great eagle, Zeus's own symbol, would descend to feast on his liver, which would regenerate every night due to his divine immortality. Bound and in agony, Prometheus suffered not for hours or years, but for centuries. An eternal torment meant to match his eternal life. His story is not just one of rebellion and sacrifice, but a haunting reminder that immortality offers no escape from pain, only the possibility of enduring it forever. Another Greek tale is the haunting story of Tithonus, a mortal prince deeply loved by Eos, the goddess of the dawn. Enchanted by his beauty and desperate to keep him forever, Eos pleaded with Zeus to grant him immortality. Her wish was fulfilled, and Tithonus was gifted eternal life, a blessing that, at first, seemed divine. With no fear of death, the lovers had all of time stretched out before them. Eos had her beloved forever by her side, and Tithonus stood on the threshold of godhood. But there was a cruel twist. In her haste, Eos had forgotten to ask for eternal youth. As the years passed, Tithonus aged slowly and endlessly. The Homeric hymn to Aphrodite tells how, when loathsome old age pressed full upon him, he could not move or lift his limbs. He shrinks and withers into a helpless old man, desperately longing for the death he will never have. In Tithonus' story, immortality becomes an unending decay. The Norse Apple of Youth. Norse mythology offers another twist on eternal life. The Aesir gods, Odin, Thor, and their kin, maintain their youth not through true immortality, but by eating the golden apples guarded by Idun, the goddess of youth and the wife of Bragi, the god of poetry. These apples do not make the gods invincible or eternal, but they stave off the wear of age, allowing the gods to live long and powerful lives. However, their vitality is entirely dependent on Idun's care of the fruit. When Loki is forced by the giant Thjazi to trick Idun into leaving Asgard, she is abducted, and soon the gods begin to wither. Their hair grays, their skin wrinkles, and the illusion of eternal strength vanishes. Panicked and decaying, they demand Loki retrieve her, and only when she is rescued does their youth return. This myth reveals a quiet, haunting truth. The gods' greatness hinges on something fragile and external. Their power is not self-sustaining. It is borrowed, conditional, and fleeting. In a deeper sense, the story warns against becoming dependent on a single source to preserve one's strength, beauty, or status. Ashvatthama's curse. Hindu epics give us Ashvatthama, a legendary warrior from the Mahabharata, is one of the immortal Chiranjeevis, destined to live until the end of time. A brilliant and powerful fighter, he survives the great war of Kurukshetra, even as countless heroes fall. To the outside world, this might appear to be a gift, a warrior who cannot die, watching the world age around him. But this so-called immortality is a curse. After committing unspeakable acts, slaying innocent sons of the Pandavas and unleashing the forbidden Brahmastra, Ashvatthama is condemned by Krishna to walk the earth alone. Stripped of his divine gem, suffering festering wounds that never heal, invisible and shunned, he is cursed to wander through the ages in agony. His immortality becomes an eternal punishment, showing that in this myth, living forever can be the most profound suffering of all. In Chinese mythology, Chang'e was the wife of the great archer Hou Yi, who saved the world by shooting down 9 of the 10 suns that scorched the earth. As a reward, he was given an elixir of immortality by the Queen Mother of the West. Hou Yi chose not to consume it immediately, wishing instead to live out his mortal life with Chang'e. However, when a treacherous apprentice named Peng Meng tried to steal the elixir while Hou Yi was away, Chang'e drank it herself to keep it from falling into evil hands. Upon doing so, her body grew weightless, and she ascended into the heavens, choosing the moon as her eternal home to remain as close as possible to her beloved husband. Though she gained immortality, Chang'e's life became one of eternal solitude. Forever separated from Hou Yi, she now dwells alone on the moon, her only companion the jade rabbit, who endlessly pounds herbs beneath the lunar trees. Meanwhile, Hou Yi mourned her deeply, offering her favorite foods during the full moon in hopes she could see them from afar. This act of remembrance is said to have inspired the Mid-Autumn Festival, when people gaze up at the moon, share mooncakes, and honor the love and sacrifice that once bridged earth and sky. Chang'e's immortality came not with joy, but with longing, a timeless reminder that eternity without love is its own kind of exile. In Slavic mythology, Koschei is a fearsome and powerful immortal villain in Slavic folklore known as Koschei the Deathless. His secret? He hides his soul, or death, in a needle, inside an egg, inside a duck, inside a hare, locked in a chest buried under a tree on a distant island. So long as his soul is hidden, he cannot die. With this invulnerability, he amasses power, wealth, and dark magic, feared across the land. His immortality makes him nearly unstoppable. But Koschei becomes paranoid and obsessed with protecting his hidden soul. He grows twisted, cruel, and monstrous over time. His immortality leads to isolation and madness, for no one can touch him, not physically or emotionally. He becomes a creature of fear and loneliness. When the hero, often Ivan Tsarevich, finds and destroys the soul egg, Koschei crumbles into death, not just physically, but spiritually. His immortality stripped him of his humanity long before he died. After hearing these chilling myths about immortality, it's clear that eternal life isn't as perfect as it sounds. But the truth remains. The idea has its perks. No sickness, no fear of death, more time with the people we love. Still, what would really happen if humanity achieved immortality? Would it be a dream come true, or a silent eternal curse? Well, there's a powerful mythological story that offers us a glimpse into that possible future. Let me tell you about our final story, the Price of Immortality, African mythology. Mythologists note that some stories take the idea of no death to an extreme. In a modern retelling of an Igbo myth from Nigeria, a village priest casts a powerful spell to banish death entirely as a remedy to an epidemic. At first, the people rejoice. Sick elders heal and nobody dies, creating a seeming paradise. Life, it seems, can go on indefinitely. Families stay together and Grim Reaper has no work to do. But a greater price is soon revealed. No one can be born either. The ban on death inadvertently freezes the cycle of life. Pregnant women never give birth and no children are born at all. The villagers realize a horrifying truth. If death ceases, life cannot continue. After much soul-searching, they conclude that immortality has made life barren. To restore balance, they reverse the spell. The moment death returns, many very old people peacefully pass away, and the long-delayed births finally happen. The story's lesson is clear. The true price of their immortality was an empty world with no new life. Only by embracing death could life renew itself. This myth starkly illustrates that unending life, even if it were technically possible, destroys the very meaning of life's cycle. Embracing mortality across cultures, a pattern is clear. Immortality's gifts turn bitter. Legends and literature have long noted that the desire for immortality is often misguided. Writers warn that eternal life brings loneliness and social stagnation. The myths above make the same point in story form. Instead, these stories point us toward the alternative, embracing our mortal lives. Gilgamesh's journey and the bartender Siduri's advice illustrate this perfectly. Mortal life comes with death for a reason. The gods keep eternal life to themselves and tell us to feast and rejoice with what we have. We are urged to value family, friendship, music, and the simple joy of a meal, because this too is the lot of man. The true lesson is profound and heartfelt. Our lives are precious precisely because they are finite. Knowing that our time is limited makes each moment sharper, each sunrise a miracle. We live fully because we will die. Mortality is not a curse, but the very thing that gives life meaning. It makes joy more vibrant, love more urgent. You say yes to life only when you say yes to its inevitable end. The myths warn us not to waste this gift by craving eternity. Instead of chasing endless years, they invite us to dance in the rain, to laugh with friends, to tell loved ones we care, to fill our belly with good things and our days with purpose. In the end, it isn't how long we live, but how we live that matters. 100 years lived in fear and boredom might feel empty if they never ended. Life's limitations grant it depth. Like a flower that blooms brilliantly just before it withers, our struggles and joys gain power from their impermanence. Every heartbeat, every choice, every tear and smile gains weight because tomorrow is not guaranteed. So cherish your mortality as the greatest gift. Remember these myths and let them steer you home to the present. Each breath is priceless, each sunset unique. In a single lifetime, we experience the full spectrum of wonder, and that is enough. Life's ending gives it beauty. Live fully, love deeply, and make every moment count. For more videos on mythological races, click the video on the left, and for more mythological content, click the one on the right. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you won't miss future uploads.